We're coming out of the village now. The last of the houses is just to my right here. And if you look up there, you can see the railway embankment tapering in. My journey northwards away from Winchester Chesel begins in the North Hampshire village of Sutton Scotney, where my first point of interest is the former bridge which once carried the line over the busy A30. So this wooded area, you can see it a bit closer up here actually. There he is there. So that's the top. This road here is the A30, goes to Basingstoke that way. Stockbridge and Salisbury that way. Right, I've got in the bushes. The A30's just there, you can see the bridge. I'm going to attempt to get up on the track bed. And there's a couple of interesting things. First thing, look, we've got a broad gauge fence post, still with the wire attached. We've got various bits and pieces dumped down there, which I'm sure are railway paraphernalia. We've got a wall and then up there, so let's, oh, nearly went then. Let's see what we can do. Right, so I'm climbing the embankment, and the first thing we see now is that a signal post. I say that because it looks metal. And that, I think, oh no, it's wood. That looked metal. So in that case, that is a telegraph pole. Right, I'm almost up on the bank. It was a lot easier than I anticipated, actually. So, I'm up on the bank. There's not far I can go because we have got literally a wall of vegetation there. And then we can't go any further this way. So taking this corner, you can see it there, is a rather large bridge abutment going over the A30, so you can see the one on the other side clearly. And then we've got this one on the south side. It's made out of an unusual material for this line. This is like concrete, a red concrete, so I would say this is a relatively modern bridge. When I say modern, 50s, 60s maybe, just before closure. So I don't know if you can see it, there's the parapet up there, so our deck would have gone across there, would have gone across at an angle. You can see where the deck would have gone through on that side, and then we got an odd raised bit there. I think that's because it went through an angle. Okay, let's take a look at the overhead, and the bridge I was just looking at can be found here, and with the line added you can see it crossing the main road from the village to the south. Now alas, I was unable to access the track bed for some distance from here and had to walk to Bullington for my next opportunity, which as you can see is right in the middle of a forest. With this rise here that you can see, that's the banking, the north bank of the A34. It's over the other side. You may be able to hear. And if we look down, so the banking ends about here, and we're looking down onto the track bed of the Didcot and Newbury Southampton Railway, where we can continue exploring. Now while I was standing here, I saw a couple of bits in the trees. There's a couple of chunky concrete posts. You got that one there. Is that, no, that's, and you got that one there. That's got a bolt still attached to it. I can't really get any closer. And I'm wondering, was this a foot crossing? Because they look pretty chunky for your average boundary posts. And then if I walk onto the track bed itself, so on the other side I noticed, if I go around this way, some bizarre concrete structures. You got that one there, you've got like a metal rod running through it, and then you got this one, and then I reckon these are remains of a foot crossing or something, and then you got a boundary post going off there. I'll take a quick look at this map dated 1897, courtesy of the National Library of Scotland, and it shows the area that I'm exploring. And look, right where I suspected is a footpath crossing the line. So it's very wide here, look. I presume it was double track, but you've probably got enough for 3 tracks here. Stinging nettles. And look at this. Look at this, look at this. We have an in situ telegraph pole. Isn't that a blinder? That's not bad, is it? See if we can get a little closer. This is a wonderful little area. I've just been stung, and I've noticed, look, we've got lots of ballast. Look at all that. Look at that, fully intact telegraph pole. Now, moving on, keeping an eye out for any more goodies that might materialise, but we've got some brickwork ahead of us, and this is a wonderful bridge. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through it, or over it I should say. So we've got our 2 sides. It's a joint road and river bridge that goes over, I think it's Bullington Lane, and the river Deva or Deva, whichever way you prefer to pronounce it. But we'll have a go. Nicely calcified there, isn't it? Oh, so far so good. I don't know, let's see if we can have a look over the edge, shall we? I'm not sure I can look, but we'll pop the camera over. And how much better does it look from below? I'd like to try and give you an idea of just how high up this embankment actually is, but we've got such a lot of vegetation either side, and here look, we've got some large chunks of ballast coming through. It's quite a bit there, and over here look, we've got even more. Look at that lot, that's been pushed up by this tree over the years. Now, I think I can give you a good idea over here actually. Let's just go over onto this on my left hand side, because walking along here just doesn't do it justice. The engineering effort that was required to build these embankments. There we go, look. So you can see down there, these really tall trees there, they're right down there, a good 30-40 foot I'd say. So let's get back on the path and see, now right ahead of me, look at this, we have another telegraph pole. Now this one looks a little bit damaged. I think that tree has grown into it and it's pushed the beams across. So there's our pole. Is there any? Yeah, there's a bit of a wire attached here. I think that's a tension pole. So Let's have a look from this side. Let's get a better view. There you go. Another telegraph pole. Loads more ballast. And it's actually really concentrated for stuff around here now. Right, I've got to go through this bit. There's a bit of a clearing up here. Oh, look at this. I wasn't expecting that. Now there's a piece of rail here, look. So we've got a footpath going across. And look at that. A piece of rail. It's obviously sticking up vertically. Now what was that for? Signpost? I mean, there's a crossing here. If this crossing was here when the railway was here, maybe it was a whistle board. A bit late if this is the crossing. Look at that. I wonder if there's one on the opposite side. Can't see anything, but I think, yes. So I haven't found a piece of rail, but just look for a piece of rail on that side. Can't see anything, but in the tree here I have found a sleeper. There we go. So there's our chair. Oh, and there's a date on that. What's that? Let's try and 1954. So was that laid? That would have been laid around that time, I'd imagine. It's concrete. We've got a strap chair on that one. Has that got a date? Well, it has, but it's very messed up. Well, I haven't given up. I've battled through all of this. I've been stung. I'm covered in spiders' webs. I'm wet. Covered in bits of plant. And I've gone the wrong way. Let's go through here. Because up here is another little bridge. There you go. It's rather cute, isn't it? Now, I'm not quite sure the name of the road that goes under here, but we've got a nice brick side. There's our road down there, and I think the way ahead looks a bit clearer. Looks like the brick side on that side has gone, unless it's a bit further over. Let's see if we can get down and have a look at that bridge. And here it is from the roadside. It's in very good condition, isn't it? But then I suppose it has to be if it's crossing a road. So moving on from that bridge, this is an absolutely intriguing area. Once again, it's gone very wide. The undergrowth has sparsed out a little bit. Unfortunately, the stinging nettles haven't. And one day I will wear some trousers, but not today. And over here, hang on, let's just get through these few stinging nettles. So we've got quite a bit of ballast here, look. And even that tree's brought some ballast up when it's fallen. But here's another one. A third intact, in situ telegraph pole. And also, I didn't notice on the others, if you look on top of that, do you remember the metal shawling, like the metal roof with the pointy bit on top that we found just north of where was it, the bridge that went under the Southwestern Main Line, just south of Worthy Down. That's one of those. And we've also got over here some concrete. In fact, we've got quite a bit of concrete. Posts of some description. It's getting silly now. They're actually starting to lose their appeal. Aha! Two things here. So firstly, yep, another one. That's 5. And also lots of ballast. And also another concrete sleeper, complete with, well, just one track chair this time. So after 5 intact telegraph poles, 2 sleepers, a track bolt and many tons of ballast, I come to the end of this short but fruitful section of track bed. But as I close on Gravel Lane, it has one more surprise to yield. I'm actually now in the process of looking for a way out of this area. So this is what I've come through. We've got like a boundary post there. So that's the railway. The ground has levelled out. I can't go that way. It's this dense sea of, oh, what's this over here? Now that is an interesting find. It looks like a pile of sleepers. Lots and lots. Hang on, let's get through here. There we go, look at that. Loads of dumped sleepers. And there's another load over this side. That's not a bad find, is it? I don't know, you've got to be looking at a good dozen or so sleepers. There's another one over the back. Just once though, it'd be nice to find a bit of rail, or even in situ. And also, I think I may have found a way out as well. Let's just go through here. It looks like some sort of a footpath, doesn't it? Where does this go? Is it a footpath? I don't know. It just seems to not really go anywhere, I don't think. But one thing I did notice when I walked through there, big thick concrete post, potential gap. There's another one there. Was this a, and we've got a big wooden one there as well, was this a recognised foot crossing? Let's walk to the other side and see if we've got a reciprocating post. Ah, yeah, here we go. There we go, we've got a couple of posts just there, that one a bit bent out. We've got one there, and yeah, there it is. Oh no, that's a fallen tree. So I think that was, in fact, yeah, you can see where the gate bracket is. Well, this little country lane is known as Gravel Lane. I think I've seen about 5 or 6 different gravel lanes around Bullington. Anyway, I've just come from in here. So there's our track bed. I don't know if you can see, but there's a bit of an embankment over there, and it rises here. It certainly rises to where I'm standing. So our line would have been in a cutting here, a much deeper cutting than you can see today. So it's clearly been filled in, and it would have come out here, and obviously that cutting would have gone under Gravel Lane, so we would have had a bridge here. Now I've had a very good look around. There's not the slightest piece of evidence of a bridge on either side, so it's either been buried, it's still down there, or it's been totally eradicated. So we came from in there. Our line would have gone under Gravel Lane where we are now, and across into where this field is today, over to where that wonderful bridge you can see. And if you follow directly across there, you can actually see the contour of the land. You see it dips, and this would have been our cutting going through there, which has obviously been filled in. So our next call is the bridge over there, which carries the A303 on top of it. So you can probably hear the traffic from the A303, which is off there to my right. And also to my right, we should see the bridge that we saw from the other side of the field, and there it is. That's not bad. But what it shows is the actual track bed level, so down there. And if we stand down here, we can see how much has been filled in. So this is our track bed. This has all been filled in, and unfortunately I've got the sun right in the camera's line, so it's going to be a bit difficult. But so that's where those trees is where I came out of the track bed, and you can see the dip where the gate is. Our line would have come straight across here in a cutting, and there's the dip that we also saw from where I was standing over on that other gate. The cutting would have come through here as far as this bridge. What a lovely bridge it is. So today we've got the A303 up there, which is the main Basingstoke to Devon and West Country road. Back in the day when the railway was here, it was simply known as the Basingstoke Road. I think it was a main road, but not in any scale of what you've got today. So here's our original bridge accommodating just our two lines. And obviously this extension was added when the A303 was constructed and turned into the major highway that it is today. And you can see where it's been added on. So if you move onto the north side of the A303 and we come to the site of something else, unfortunately there is nothing whatsoever to see today. But our track bed would have come through the bridge. It would have swept across in front of me. Those trees directly there, that's our track bed. Now I've looked extensively on the internet, done quite a bit of research, and I'm pretty certain that this here, somewhere in this approximate area in this corner of the field, is the site of Barton Stacey Station. Now it wasn't a it was a passenger station, but it was built in February 1940, and it was constructed purely to allow workers to reach this area where an army camp was being built. Remember, this area was full and is still full of lots and lots of military. It only lasted until November, December the same year, and it would only have been a single platform, more than likely wood. As I say, it was only there purely to allow workers, construction workers, to get to the camp. And I'm pretty certain, I mean, there's no photographic evidence, it's not even marked on any maps, but I've done as best I can, and I think this was the place, somewhere within, I don't know, 100 meters, around here.